Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to go in a little bit more of a deeper dive into what all the future of graphics and what the future of the PlayStation and Xbox are mainly going to be looking towards. Now, I think it's going to be actually really nifty, kind of cool news to go and cover because I love seeing this, and I really want to do like a little bit of a deeper dive and kind of showcase up the potential and future and everything that actually is evolving to this next step of gaming. Now, in case you guys are kind of curious too, we kind of covered this up a little bit, where it's all now basically a huge press event when it came to the Unreal Engine 5.2. Now, this is kind of more so kind of the big stepping stone or the staircase when it comes to games, when it comes to game development, and all these brand new features that can be applicable towards gaming. And some of the stuff is actually really cool, so we're going to go and highlight up basically the big tech demo, the big tech showcase, and everything I kind of talked about as of yesterday. Because as you guys may or not had a chance to go and see, we saw two major big groundbreaking changes. Number one, on the brand new source code for CSGO, but then number two, the brand new Unreal Engine 5.2. Now, I'm sure you guys may or may not have a chance to know what this is if you guys watch my channel, and of course, if you guys also don't know, I'm just in the middle of still setting all my stuff, so never mind how awful this all looks. One of these days will look normal again soon, I promise. But when it does come with all this stuff, number one, when it comes to gameplay, when it comes to building, Unreal Engine is basically the number one precedent setter when it comes to gaming and gaming as a whole. This is one of the biggest basically things where people build video games on top of, so any change, any implementation, and everything else with this is like basically them setting the trend, which also means other different types of things, such as Unity, are also be made and pushed forward to development for this technology. So we're going to talk about this. Make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. Of course, all the Amazon links and Twitter and Twitch streams down below, and let's kind of go play up this actual big showcase over here for the Unreal Tech Engine. So once again, there's a lot of cool stuff I'm going to do a bit more of a play-by-play on, so let's dive into it.
We added several new features.
I hate this so much!
Foliage rendering. And the Fortnite team used those features to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4.
Just do one of these.
At the same time, Jacob over there and the team at Quixel were experimenting with what's possible for photoreal foliage environments, as well as testing out the latest functionality that we've been building for Unreal Engine.
So first and foremost, I'm gonna probably pause a lot throughout this. Look at how beautiful the light and like the fluorescent light is kind of coming through all of this. You could basically go and see like the reflectory of like the shadows coming from this open space, which is kind of big and different when it comes to games. It like adds a lot more to the immersion, adds a lot more to the actual, I guess, like balancing of the light itself. And in theory, because a lot of this stuff is also using AI technology to somewhat formulate things like say like the random leaves or also light particles, it's also less taxing overall as time goes on.
So Jacob's here with us today in the Unreal Editor. Let's explore the environment.
And as well, the Unreal Editor
way to do that than
is what people could use in Fortnite, and they can make games in this.
Off-road than in a Rivian R1T.
There's a sellout over here, the promo. I got some Rivian stock,
Rivian
whatever.
Uses Unreal to power their instrument cluster, including 3D visualization of their vehicles. So we worked with them to bring the R1T to life in this experience.
And this is all literally in like a in-game tech demo.
Sure thing, on my way.
All right. So we're building tools for interactive and dynamic worlds. So here we have chaos physics simulating rocks that tumble as we drive over them.
So that's one big thing they kind of just went and noticed, that basically the environment itself is all like procedurally generated. So for the terms of that is that you can make these rocks move. You see a tree branch like this, you see a rock like this, you see all these little small little pebbles. As you go and drive, it basically alters up the entire game.
And we also added some real-time fluid simulation.
And also here's the water, which also looks insanely cool. Which also kind of adds to the fact of like, let's say you have the water then sticking to like the wheels or the tires and everything else too, and also then also having like the wheel lines as you're driving after you're outside the water, basically like letting those water particles go on the actual street itself.
We worked with the team
like how it would be in real life
to set up Unreal's chaos vehicle model to simulate the suspension of the truck and how the electric motors drive each individual wheel.
And all this thing with like a PlayStation controller. You would have the haptic feedback as you're going through these rocks. It's insane.
And meta sounds enabled the team to precisely resynthesize the sounds of the electric motors and mix them with the ambisonics of the jungle.
Like, look at how beautiful this looks first and foremost. And number two, this is all like an actual environment that's ever changing.
Provided us with a highly detailed model of the truck, about 71 million polygons that we're able to render in real time thanks to Nanite.
This is insane to me. This is like the future of gaming.
It looks incredibly realistic because of Lumen and Nanite, but also its materials. And today, we're introducing Substrate, our new material framework.
That's kind of the big production too as well for 5.2. Of all these brand new features, next updates.
And to better demonstrate it, let's swap the paint out for Opal. Now, of course,
that's looking dandy.
You can't order a Rivian with Opal body panels, but Opal was the internal code name for this project, and also a really great demonstration of Substrate's capabilities. The base layer models the iridescence, refraction, and reflections that occur inside of an opal. And on top of that is a layer representing the polished surface and how light is absorbed as it travels through that clear layer of varying.
I just want everyone to realize this is also in a video game. So this is not just like a, oh, here's a random texture. This is like basically a live, ever-changing 3D model where depending on where you look at it and depending on the plane you look at, it's kind of like in real life. If you go look at something like this, it's going to be a completely different perspective. If you literally have a light on this, it'll be like, you can even look at my face. If you go and change these dynamics in my life, you can literally see the shadow on my face as we're talking about this stuff. I think it's insane. That's all real. Like, this is realistic stuff.
You can add back on the dust and dirt layers. And notice how the reflection changes when interacting with the dust layer.
I love this. This is literally insanity to see.
Along the transition from dirt to dust to opal. So Substrate is more expressive, enabling artists to create materials like this with different shading models and compose and layer those materials as they see fit. All right, let's head on out, Jacob.
On my way.
On my way.
In terms of performance, Substrate materials that are similar to the current Unreal Engine shading model cost about the same. But now, artists have the freedom to author more complex materials for extremely detailed use cases, like in cinematics and in film. So we're going to drive under this fallen tree here, and everything that you've seen up to this point was painstakingly hand-built by the environment team at Quixel. Everything since that fallen tree has been built using our brand new experimental suite of procedural content generation tools.
Okay, now this is where I really want to focus on this, because this is them quite literally saying that everything was custom made that we just saw. So think the trees, think the branches, think all that like cool water environment, everything between. This is because of their engine able to go and custom make this procedurally generated, which will save so much time, money, and effort, but as well just look at how beautiful this looks like in an actual game. This is real life. This is insanity to me. This is so cool.
Deterministic, and artist-driven. Our guiding principle in building
like this is the future of AI. It's insane.
Empower artists to make tools.
I've talked about this on a prior video before, if you guys kind of pay attention to what I say. I literally want to go and do the biggest deep dive I could ever go and say to see how the future of AI can change gaming as a whole, because this is insanity to me.
For artists. So Jacob's going to go ahead and add a procedural assembly to the world. And the cool thing is that it communicates. Thank you.
Like, people are literally, like, clapping because that is cool. You know, like, that is insanity to me. To have that so easily involved in a game. That's nuts.
And the cool thing is that it communicates with other nearby procedural elements in the scene, like the creek bed. So let's say a designer comes by, wants to direct the player to drive to the left. Jacob can simply move the assembly to the right, and everything updates to accommodate that change.
That is insanity to me.
Game design is iterative. So let's say the designer comes back, wants to give the player the choice of going left or right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over. Now, the artist who created this assembly also added some additional handles that Jacob can use to art direct where rock slides occur. Allows him to customize the piece a little bit more, make it a little easier for the Rivian to drive by.
So as you guys can go and see, like, it's basically just making like its own individual changes as it goes on, where it's like, it's basically live learning where you want to place this in terms of what's also to the side of it, what's also not to the side of this. This technology is literally going to change gaming as a whole forever. Like, this is nuts.
So we started by handcrafting that original part of the level to set the visuals and art direction for the entire piece, and then built out procedural tools that allowed the team to create a much larger play space much more quickly. Now let's see how we can use these procedural tools to make larger sweeping changes to the environment. So Jacob, let's start by removing some of the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
Which is insane. Right. The entire game, the vibe just changed instantly.
And let's also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more.
I hope you guys understand how crazy this is for me to even witness.
So the procedural systems are all deterministic.
It's nuts.
As Jacob is experimenting with different sets of input parameters, once he finds a set that he likes, he can always go back to it and get out exactly the same results. And the procedural systems aren't just
nuts.
placing
The future is crazy.
Rocks,
the future is like basically almost here.
Cars, bugs, birds, everything that's needed to bring this environment to life. And everything that you've seen here works at scale. This environment is 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
I just can't wait. Unreal is insane to me.
Procedural elements, we can see that original hand-built area, about 200 meters by 200 meters. We believe that there will always be the need for hand-building environments, so we design these procedural systems to be tools for artists that work in concert with hand-built content. Both Substrate and the new procedural tools will be available in experimental form in 5.2.
It's one of the coolest things I think I've ever had a chance to go and see. When you guys look at the future, you guys can see all the procedurally generated AI potential. You guys can see the actual future of the actual live dynamic changes in terms of lighting, light particles, rocks, and everything in between. And I'm just kind of sitting over here just bewildered on how cool all this is going to be in the future and how much I can't wait for this to be utilized in the PlayStation, Xbox, and all the future games out there too as well. We had a chance to talk about this, as I mentioned yesterday, so if you guys didn't mind me kind of showcase it up a little bit more and kind of give my live reaction and thoughts on it, because this is some of the coolest things I've ever had a chance to go and see in gaming. Once again, you guys don't mind me for my also weird setup. I'm still working on it as of now, so you guys don't mind that. But I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, and make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We have all the Amazon links too, and you guys all be able to have a great day. Love you guys.